I deliberately left the window open, letting the crime boss hear me with someone else all night long. The next morning, he asked me with a gloomy face, "Can I join in?" But I just embraced the other person, coldly refusing. "Don't you like your little sister the most?" His eyes turned bloodshot, but he didn't dare step closer. Only because, as his woman, I had helped him expand his business for 10 years. In the end, he'd rather marry a college girl than keep his promise to marry me. His subordinates couldn't understand and began protesting on my behalf. "Boss, Arya has helped you build your empire. She's a valuable asset. Didn't you used to dote on her? Why marry someone else now?" Ethan stubbed out his cigarette, fiddling with the couple's ring he shared with Lily. "Arya? A woman with blood on her hands. Every time I think about sleeping with her, it gives me the creeps. How can she compare to my darling? But Arya is clever. What if she finds out and turns against you?" Ethan frowned and sneered. "The whole city is already mine. Without her, I'm not afraid of losing anything." Little did he know, I had heard everything from outside the door. I threw the medicine I was going to give him in the trash and sent a Snapchat to his arch-enemy Xavier. "Want Ethan's territory and life? I'll give them to you." As I was preparing to get a speedboat to leave the island, Ethan came to find me. "There's a big shipment coming to the island the day after tomorrow. Send some men to receive it personally, and clear out your house. I need it," he commanded sternly, but I just found it laughable. To marry Lily, he really didn't care about my life. Even if Xavier attacked his base, he still wanted me to risk my life to bring back his little flower. He was truly lovesick. "Need the house? Wasn't it just for Lily to live in?" I coldly replied with an "oh." Seeing my flat reaction, Ethan frowned in displeasure. "What are you sulking about now?" "I'm not making our relationship public because the situation is unstable. Xavier is watching closely. I can't let the men lower their guard just because of you. Your most important task now is to help me fend off Xavier's attacks." Ethan always tried to manipulate me like this. Before, I thought it was his way of protecting me, so I worked even harder for him, fighting and scheming. But now I just found it absurd. I put the boat rental form in front of him and said flatly, "I'm not sulking. I'm used to it." Ethan sensed something unusual. Impatience flashed in his eyes, and his signature even tore through the paper. "Arya, what's with the attitude? I'm just asking for your house. Everything on this island is mine, including your life. Can't I even use you anymore?" He threw the paper in my face. "From now on, don't come to me for trivial things like going off the island for supplies. I don't have time for you." Knowing he misunderstood, I didn't explain. I nodded perfunctorily and left, feeling relieved as I looked at the speedboat I was about to board. I had helped Ethan and his business for 10 years. We were childhood sweethearts, brothers who could trust each other with our lives, and even the most intimate lovers. I had always hoped to marry him, and he had hinted that once he controlled the whole city, he would give me what I wanted. But now I realized that was just my wishful thinking, and his lies woven to use my feelings. Now he was going to marry someone else. That night, a team of heavily armed mercenaries escorted Lily onto the island. She wore a white dress, her naive eyes full of smug pride. "Sister has worked hard for Ethan for over 10 years, with great merit. I'll definitely get him to promote you, and send you some male models. We can't let sister's personal life suffer. Unlike Ethan, who can't wait another moment. He's marrying me tomorrow, oh my." I tightened my grip on the gun handle, barely restraining the urge to shoot her. "Let's go." I coldly glanced at her and was about to leave. But Lily stopped me, taking out a diary from her bag and saying slyly, "These are the love notes Ethan wrote when he missed me all these years. It's too heavy to carry, so I'll trouble sister to throw it away for me." With that, she swayed her skirt and left. Facing the cold wind blowing against the rocks, I trembled as I opened the diary. April 12th, 2024. When I protected him as we broke through an encirclement, he said, "Lily, if I survive this, I'll marry you." August 5th, 2023. When I heard he was ambushed by Xavier during a business trip, I took 2 machetes and single-handedly broke into the enemy camp to rescue him. He said, "Baby, you smell so good today." January 24th, 2021. When he was arrested, I decided to take the blame for him, and he said, "If it were you, I would never let you suffer like this." Every word in the diary stabbed my heart, as painful as if it was being carved out. How many times had I begged Ethan to marry me, and he always kissed my forehead and said, "Arya, wait for me. I have too many enemies. I'm always afraid I haven't cleared the obstacles for you." When I have the whole city under control, I'll marry you, okay? But my countless urgings were met only with perfunctory responses. On Snapchat, a reply finally came. The short 2 words were forceful, leaving me no way to turn back. Deal. I still couldn't help wanting to confirm something, so I asked. On August 5th, 2024, you ambushed Ethan, right? The reply came instantly, each word dripping with blood. I'm completely innocent. No way? So that's why you chased me for 9 blocks with 2 machetes? It really wasn't me. I laughed bitterly. So in Ethan's eyes, I was just a clown to be toyed with at will. If so, why should I stay for them to mock me? After arranging the details with Xavier, I was walking back when I overheard Ethan talking to his men by the yacht. Boss, the bride's wedding dress has arrived. The $1 billion dress you requested from the royal auction, one said. But we're worried about Arya, another added. If she makes a scene and exposes our location, we could all get caught. Ethan was unconcerned. I love Lily and will only marry her. Tomorrow's wedding must go smoothly. No accidents. Not even Arya. I'll make sure she stays quiet. And keep your men's mouth shut. If anyone leaks even half a word, I'll feed them to the sharks. Though I had already decided to leave, hearing the man who once loved me so deeply now speak like this pierced my heart. Back in my room, I packed what I wanted to take. Besides my ID documents, I looked around at the weapons scattered everywhere and realized Ethan had never really given me anything. He just tossed me weapons, telling me to protect him. I'd once asked for dresses and jewelry, but he said, Arya, even in a dress and necklace, you don't look like a woman. Don't waste them. Yet Lily's luggage was full of jewelry and beautiful clothes. Why could she wear them but not me? I searched the wardrobe and found a red dress at the bottom. I put it on with high heels and even did my makeup. Just then, Lily barged into my room. Arya, you've read the diary, right? Ethan's most beloved. I barely had time to react before she snapped. I thought you'd at least have some self-respect and leave quietly knowing Ethan doesn't love you. But you're still trying to seduce him. You shameless vixen. I'll tear you apart. She lunged at me, trying to scratch my face, but her skills were so poor I ended up slapping her instead. Arya, how dare you hit me? Ethan will make you pay. Lily screeched. I crossed my arms and watched her jump around. Thanks for the compliment. I'm definitely prettier than you. Then, suddenly, she dropped to her knees, slapping herself. Sister, I'm the despicable one, marrying Ethan so thoughtlessly. Beat me to death if you want. Just don't ruin the wedding. Confused, I barely registered the incoming kick aimed at me. Arya, are you treating my words like the wind? You dare bully Lily? Ethan's furious kick would have broken me if it had landed. So what was I to him? A hunting dog he raised? A punching bag to use and abuse? I barely dodged but twisted my ankle in the high heels. I winced, forcing myself to look at him. Ethan helped Lily up. His cold eyes met mine. For a moment, they lit up, but his words were still icy. Arya, no matter how pretty you dress up, you're not half as good as Lily. Lily sobbed and clung to Ethan's hand. Ethan, sister forced me to tell her. I couldn't keep the secret. I'm sorry. Ethan held her gently. It's just a small matter. No one blames you. I smiled bitterly. He had just threatened his men with death to keep the wedding secret, but when Lily blabbed to me, it was a small matter. She had no restrictions with him. So pampered. So what was I? A fool? So, you're really going to marry her? I stared hard at Ethan. I cared too much about how he would explain it. I thought he'd feel guilty, panic, maybe beg me to let go of the past and give them his blessing. But Ethan just frowned slightly, unconcerned. Yes, the wedding is tomorrow. I'll allow you to attend, but don't cause trouble. Arya, don't force me to deal with you. In an instant, my last hope for him shattered. It wasn't the right time to marry me just because it was me. But when it came to Lily, all the dangers and threats suddenly vanished. He could even brazenly offer to let me attend their wedding. How could someone be so heartless? I held back tears, gritting my teeth. Get out. But Lily pushed further. Ethan, I don't know many people here. I want sister to be our bridesmaid, but I'm afraid of offending her. Seeing his beloved girl plead so carefully, Ethan softened and ordered me. Arya, since you know we're getting married, being a bridesmaid shouldn't be a problem, right? I don't want to see you too. Get out. My anger exploded. I grabbed a stick from the corner and chased them out. Get out. I slammed the door shut and collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. A tear of despair leaked from the corner of my eye. As I grieved, my phone suddenly lit up with a message from Xavier. I opened it irritably, but suddenly blushed when I saw what was inside. "The red dress suits you. You look beautiful. Take off those heels and apply some medicine." I was surprised he knew my ankle was swollen. But medicine? Before I could think more, a drone flew to the window carrying a box. I opened it to find a red dress and some ointment inside. So, he had discovered Ethan's hideout long ago but hadn't made a move yet. I really had found the right ally. I had just applied the medicine as instructed and was about to wash up for bed when Ethan returned. He picked me up gently and placed me on the bed, holding a tube of bruise ointment. "Be good, don't be afraid. I'll apply the medicine for you." It was raining outside. Ethan was soaked, but he carefully dried his hands before softly applying the ointment. I was afraid of pain. When I first started fighting alongside Ethan, I'd cry uncontrollably even from a scratch. Every time I was injured, no matter how battered he was, Ethan stayed by my side, letting me bite his arm to endure the pain. Those years were tough, but I felt secure. But then, one day, he disappeared from my bedside. Later, countless times when I was on the verge of death, scarred and battered, he never spared me a glance. Now, I wasn't afraid of pain anymore, yet he was rushing to take care of me. Had his conscience finally awakened? Ethan's apologetic voice came softly. "Arya, you've lost weight. I've been neglecting you lately, I'm sorry. About the marriage? I was afraid you'd overthink it, so I didn't tell you. Lily saved my life and was targeted for assassination because of me. I have to protect her. But don't worry, I won't touch her. I only love you. Once I deal with Xavier, I'll definitely divorce her and marry you properly, okay?" He massaged my ankle while my gaze fixed on the wedding ring on his finger. I looked at Ethan, my eyes full of sorrow, and asked, "Ethan, all these years, have you ever loved me?" He was stunned for a moment, then knelt on one knee, holding me in his arms, full of deep affection. "I love you. I only love you, Arya." Then, he hand-fed me the milk he brought, his eyes tender. "Here, drink some milk and go to sleep early. You can come to the wedding tomorrow if you want. I won't stop you." But I tasted the milk was laced with sleeping pills, enough to knock me out for the whole day. My throat constricted, almost suffocating me. He was still deceiving me, just so Lily could marry him smoothly tomorrow. So this was how he planned to keep me quiet. I drank all the milk, a tear falling. My heart felt dead. Ethan smiled so brightly, gazing tenderly at me as I closed my eyes. But he didn't know that after years of fighting for him, I had trouble sleeping every night and had built up a tolerance to sleeping pills. After a while, Lily's coquettish moans sounded in my ear. "Ethan, you were gone so long. I thought you were staying here." Ethan embraced her passionately. "How could I? She's just a human shield to take bullets for me. I'm still being watched by Xavier, so I need to keep her close to use her. Xavier is wary of her, so he won't go all out against me." Lily pouted. "Where are you touching?" "Naughty. I'm the naughtiest." Ethan's voice was low and husky. The sound of clothes rustling grew more intense as they kissed fervently. My heart felt like it had been stabbed, pain tearing me apart. To Ethan, I had always submitted unconditionally. He had never been so doting and passionate with me. "Arya, can you take the blame for me?" "Arya, I'm in a firefight with Xavier. Come help me." And I always agreed, even at the cost of my life. Finally, they left, and I couldn't sleep all night. Early in the morning, I packed my backpack and left. Half the island was empty, everyone preparing for the wedding. I handed the rental form to the dock guard. "I need a speedboat." The man looked surprised. "Arya, things are tense out there. What if you get caught? Boss told us not to let you leave the island alone. And with you gone, who will manage things here? We're worried something might happen." Ethan had once promised me that as soon as he took over the city, he would marry me as Mrs. Cheen. To marry him sooner, I led raids at night and handled island affairs during the day, splitting myself in two. But if Ethan truly loved me, how could he let me work so hard and ignore my efforts? He didn't love me, so everything I did was in vain. Does the boss know you're leaving the island? He was one of the few who knew the truth about us, and how much Ethan valued me. Although Ethan never showed special treatment toward me in front of his men, nor crossed any lines with me. He even beat me half to death in public to establish his authority. But the man still asked repeatedly, uneasy, because I was leaving on Ethan's wedding day. He knows. He signed the form himself. The man hesitated, but under my urging, he gave me the speedboat. Driving the boat, the salty cold wind blew all around before I finally felt the reality of leaving. This counts as completely betraying Ethan, right? After all, I'm taking secrets to his archenemy, Xavier. I wonder what expression he'll have when he finds out. I can only think so maliciously. As I passed an area of sea, a huge yacht was anchored, holding a wedding ceremony on deck. A helicopter scattered rose petals from above, covering the nearby sea. The sound system was loud enough to hear from afar. It was Ethan pouring his heart out to Lily. Lily, you once said people in our line of work shouldn't have loved ones. So I hid all my love for you in my heart, afraid you'd become my weakness, afraid you'd get hurt. But now I want to tell you, you are my weakness and also my armor. To be able to marry you, I waited 7 years, planning for so long. Now my wish has finally come true. Yes, he loves her. He hid it from everyone, including me. All his love for Lily now makes his promises to me a joke. I turned my head and glanced into the distance, seeing the silhouettes of a man and woman standing together on the deck, pure and romantic. Ethan's gaze seemed to meet mine from afar. He froze. Arya? My heart clenched painfully. He seemed overwhelmed by a strong sense of unease, as if about to lose something most precious. Lily held his hand, giggling and comforting him. Ethan, you must be seeing things. Sister drank the drugged milk you gave her. She's still sleeping now. The doubt on Ethan's face gradually faded, but he silently decided to comfort me well when he got back, even if it took the rest of his life to make up for it. Little did he know, I was already steering the speedboat farther and farther away from him. Mr. Ethan, do you take Miss Lily to be your lawfully wedded wife, for better or— The priest's solemn vows were suddenly interrupted. Boss, something's wrong. A subordinate came running in panic, shouting. Boss, Arya. Arya is gone. Ethan's smile froze on his face when he heard this. He stood there stunned for a long time without reacting. Suddenly, as if hearing a joke, he instinctively refuted. What nonsense are you spouting? Arya is clearly sleeping in her room. How could she be gone? He had personally handed her that cup of milk, fed it to her himself. There was no way Arya could have woken up. Ethan frowned deeply and coldly ordered his men. Take him away. Don't let him disrupt our wedding. The subordinate frantically knelt down and begged, repeatedly kowtowing to prove he was telling the truth. Boss, I'm really not lying. Miss Arya is really gone. We've searched the whole island, but— Before he could finish, another man kicked him down, stepping on his face. Shut up. Can't you see it's the boss's big day? Have some sense, boy. Ethan's face darkened. Lock him up first. I'll deal with him when I get back. The men complied and dragged the subordinate away. The wedding continued, with the priest's voice still asking, Mr. Ethan, do you take Miss Lily to be your lawfully wedded wife for better or worse, in sickness and in health? Ethan didn't hear a word after that. His mind kept repeating one sentence. Miss Arya is gone. Thinking of Arya's eyes last night, hopeful, sorrowful, desperate, his heart was uneasy. Even facing the woman he had longed for day and night, vowing to marry, he kept seeing Arya's beautiful face from last night. It was the first time he had seen her so womanly. She's gone. Is it true or false? Ethan's heart clenched painfully, feeling incredibly empty. A strong sense of regret and unease washed over him. Ethan. Lily's call brought him back to his senses. What's wrong? Ethan, the priest is asking you a question. Lily looked at him, confused, embarrassment flashing in her eyes. The guests watching the ceremony also looked bewildered. Ethan rubbed his nose bridge, gesturing to continue. The priest asked again. Mr. Ethan, do you take Miss Lily to be your wife? Ethan held Lily's hand tightly and sincerely vowed. I do. Before he could finish, another commotion arose. Boss, Arya is really gone. The man guarding the dock came running, out of breath and sweating profusely. As if he had run laps around the island, Ethan finally panicked. He let go of Lily's hand and sternly demanded, What exactly happened? Explain clearly. The man held his waist, panting heavily. This morning Arya got a speedboat from me, saying she had your permission. I didn't think much of it and gave it to her. But then men reported seeing Xavier's ships nearby. Arya seemed to be heading in Xavier's direction. I got worried and searched her room. All of Arya's documents are gone. Boss, is Arya defecting? Ethan's face darkened more and more as the man spoke. He never imagined that one day Arya would betray him and run away. She had loved him for 10 years, given him everything without a word of complaint. She had stayed by his side through the toughest, hardest times. But now, when he was just one step away from success, Arya abandoned him and left? How is this possible? He had clearly reassured her, saying he would divorce Lily after this, then marry her and give her the grandest wedding of the century. He had clearly promised to give her status, to go public with their relationship. Why couldn't Arya just wait a little longer? What was she playing at? Defect? Who was she defecting to? Xavier? Ethan's temples throbbed, veins bulging on his wrists as he slammed his fist on the table. Fuck. Xavier. His sudden outburst startled Lily, who had just finished changing and rushed over. Ethan shouted toward the men outside. Everyone, leave the island. Find Arya at all costs. Even if you have to raid Xavier's hideout, find Arya for me. Though Ethan was furious, Lily couldn't help feeling a little smug. She clung to Ethan's arm and whined. Ethan, you've put so much effort into our wedding. It's just one subordinate missing. We can look for her after. Everyone's watching. Don't ruin the mood, okay? You've waited so long. We can finally be together. The wedding absolutely cannot be interrupted. But Ethan's mind was in chaos.
He couldn't hear a word she said.
1,000 tangled thoughts swirled as he struggled to understand why Arya would leave him. Just knowing she took all her ID documents made his palms tremble ever so slightly with panic. He instinctively wanted to leave the hall to find Arya, but Lily refused to let anything spoil the wedding. She grabbed Ethan's arm tightly, her voice pleading. Ethan, where are you going? Everyone's watching us. You can't leave me here, not now, husband. Her tug made Ethan hesitate, his face conflicted. Lily's eyes filled with tears, her voice breaking as if on the verge of collapse. Ethan, Arya admires you so much. How could she bear to leave? This must be a trick to lure you back. If you go, you'll fall for it. As if struck by her words, Ethan paused and his expression hardened. He sneered coldly. You're right. She's followed me for so long, loves me to death. How could she leave? She must know I'm getting married. She's just throwing a tantrum, trying to lure me back. She really is. The man waiting below for orders pursed his lips and asked, Boss, should we still look for her? Ethan pulled Lily back toward the altar, shooting him an impatient glance. No need. Let her stew for a while. She'll come back on her own after the wedding. From now on, no one interrupts this wedding again. If you don't have any sense, you don't need to live. With Ethan's warning, the sacred wedding music resumed. The men who had come to report returned to the yacht. No one cared anymore who was missing. Ethan and Lily exchanged rings and shared a deep kiss beneath a shower of flowers and blessings. The wedding was complete. After leaving the yacht, Ethan finally ordered his men to search for me. Then he stormed to my room. Seeing the unchanged layout, Ethan still thought I was just throwing a tantrum. Anger flared as he began questioning. Arya, you've played long enough. The wedding's over. You should come out now. Don't think I'll always indulge you. You've interrupted my and Lily's weddings several times today. You must apologize to Lily, or I won't forgive you. Fueled by anger, he ransacked the room, desperate to find clues about where I might be hiding. But some ID documents and personal clothes were indeed missing. Doubt gnawed at him. Was Arya really serious? He suddenly spotted a familiar diary when he pulled open a drawer. It was the one he had sent to Lily last time he thought he was going to die. But why was the diary in my drawer? Ethan froze. Instinctively, he opened it and saw my handwriting on the cover page. Get lost, Ethan. I'm done serving you. His hands shook as he flipped through the pages, scanning what he had written before. Every sentence felt like an icy knife stabbing him. He put himself in my shoes and suddenly felt choked by the words, unable to breathe. Only now did Ethan realize how absurd and cruel his past actions must have seemed to me. His phone vibrated. He received an anonymous message. Finally got your karma? The next message came immediately after. I'll take good care of her for you. No need to thank me. The sender even added a smiling emoji, betraying his excitement. Ethan's temples throbbed, veins bulging on his wrist as he slammed his fist on the table. Fuck you, Xavier. His sudden outburst startled Lily, who had just changed and rushed over. Ethan then shouted to the men outside. Everyone, leave the island. Find Arya at all costs. Even if you have to raid Xavier's hideout, find Arya for me. Though Ethan was furious, Lily couldn't help feeling a bit smug. She clung to his arm and whined. Husband, Arya's gone, so what? You still have me, don't you? Besides, the whole city is already your territory. Losing her isn't a big deal. Why bother with that bitch? Lily's words got carried away and sounded harsher than she intended. Ethan's expression shifted instantly. For the first time, the innocent little flower he saw in Lily's eyes darkened. If it were Arya, she would be the first to rush out and search everywhere. Only Arya was so kind, so pure, that she made him feel utterly filthy by comparison. Ethan's hands clenched into fists, his voice cold and deep. You really want her gone? Seeing Ethan glare at her with that dark intensity, for my sake, Lily pouted and tried to explain. Husband, I didn't mean that. I just love you so much I couldn't control myself. Ethan threw the diary at her, shouting, Couldn't control yourself? So you deliberately showed her this. It must have been your scheme, provoking her right in front of me, making Arya lose heart. You used such despicable means to drive her away. Lily's legs gave out and she collapsed, but she fought to stay calm. It's not like that, husband. You told me Arya was the person you cared about most. How could I dare hurt her? I lost the diary when I came to the island. Arya must have found it. Before she could finish, a sharp slap landed across her face. Her cheeks swelled, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. She stared at Ethan in disbelief. He had always treated her like a precious gem, afraid she'd melt or break, doting on her with all his might. He was even willing to abandon me to marry her. She never imagined Ethan would raise a hand against her. I already said I would marry you to compensate you. How dare you drive her away? If you hadn't saved my life, do you think I'd marry you? What makes you think you could ever surpass her? Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, his roars deafening. Terrified, Lily crawled to his feet, clutching his pants leg, begging desperately. Ethan, I didn't mean to. I didn't expect sister to be so extreme. I just love you too much. I don't want to share you with other women. But Ethan's demeanor turned terrifyingly cold. He bent down, eyes bloodshot, his large hand gripping Lily's chin. He spoke slowly, each word dripping with menace. But you still deserve to die. I'll be very generous sharing you with others. Then he kicked her away. She rolled like a rag doll, covered in blood and mud, utterly wretched. Ethan handed her over to his men. Send her below to the others for fun. Take it easy. Let her live a little longer. Meanwhile, I had already entered Xavier's territory. He looked me up and down in my red dress and couldn't help but blurt out, Why didn't you bring your 2 big machetes? I was stunned, didn't expect him to mention those weapons. Back then, when I chased him for 9 blocks and got caught, I refused to let go of the machetes no matter what. He teased me relentlessly, saying I was too rough and that Ethan would never marry me, that I was just asking for trouble. Who would have thought his words would come true? Seeing my expression darken, Xavier immediately raised his hands in surrender and changed the subject. All right, my little ancestor. I was being tactless. I was a bit surprised. Ethan would never apologize to me. He'd only look down on me from above. But Xavier seemed different. I pushed the bitterness down and curved my red lips into a relieved smile. The knives have rusted. Some people have rotted too. You were right. What needs to be thrown away should be thrown away. Xavier, don't apologize. You should be congratulating me. The sea breeze was salty and cool, but Xavier's gaze burned with an unstoppable heat. We stood there silently for a long moment before he curved a meaningful smile. I should congratulate you. Congratulations on breaking free from your dark past and welcoming a new life. And congratulations to me. I turned to him, confused. Congratulations to you for what? Congratulations to me for finally winning you over. Xavier's almond-shaped eyes sparkled like stars. My heart skipped a beat, and my face heated up, but I shook my head seriously. It's just a transaction, Xavier. I haven't sold myself to you. Hearing my words, Xavier burst out laughing, eyes full of affection. Yes, you're too smart. You're a treasure that can't be bought with money. I pouted. After decades of entanglement with Ethan, scheming, fighting desperately for his money and power, I had killed and worked both sides. But in the end, all I got was his betrayal. All those vows and passion were just lies. Only money and power in your own hands are truly yours. Even facing an opponent like Xavier, who knew me inside out, I would never bet on myself so easily again. What I used to trade with him was never myself. After you take over Ethan's territory, I only want half his cash and real estate. Promise me that, and I'll tell you everything about his operations." I paused, then added, "Don't wipe out all his men, except the core members. Keep them under you, just let them make a living. And lastly, let me go." "No," Xavier stepped closer, bending to look me straight in the eye, his tone brooking no argument. "I'll agree to everything else, but not the last." I bit my lip, glaring at him. "Why not?" Xavier grabbed my chin, chuckling. "Because I'm going to pursue you. Wait until I take down Ethan first. After that, whether you stay or go, it's up to you." That night, lying in bed, I tossed and turned with Xavier's words echoing in my mind. "Because I'm going to pursue you." I couldn't sleep, but then I remembered Ethan mentioning Xavier to Lily last night. Anyway, Xavier is wary of her, so he won't go all out against me.
Why?
Why would Xavier hold back just because I was there? Suddenly, I sat up, irritated and restless. I went downstairs for some cool air. A blanket was draped over my shoulders. Xavier leaned on the railing in his pajamas, giving me a look that said I was giving him a headache. Catching a chill in the middle of the night? Even the healthiest body can't take that kind of abuse. Fingering the blanket, I replied flatly, "Thanks, but you could have just pretended not to see me." I chose to ally with Xavier because I thought he could beat Ethan. After so many encounters, I knew his capabilities well, but I didn't want any emotional entanglement with him. That would only make me repeat my mistakes. Yet Xavier's gaze stayed fixed on me, the depths of his eyes seeming to see through all my pretenses. "But I did see you, and I can't help wanting to be good to you. What should I do, Arya? Am I really worse than him? Arya, do you really not want to give me a chance?" His voice was too seductive, even his breathing a deliberate temptation. That question made my heart tremble. Did I really not want to give Xavier a chance? The moment I came to find him, it felt like I had already tied myself to him. The dim light illuminated his handsome face. Actually, Xavier was really quite good-looking. He was definitely much more handsome than Ethan. I felt ashamed of my own superficial thoughts. That alluring voice sounded again. "If you have no feelings for me, why are you wearing the red dress I sent you? Why did you come to me first when something happened? Weren't you afraid I'd take advantage of the situation? Or maybe, deep down, you've already..." Each of his questions seemed to peel away my thoughts, layer by layer. Why did I choose him? Was it just for his abilities? Wanting to use him to get revenge on Ethan? Or was it that, after countless encounters being captured and released by him, I had developed a dependence? Or was it simply that I was physically attracted to him? "I'm not lusting after your body," I blurted out. I turned to explain, but suddenly crashed into Xavier's embrace. Seeing his smiling eyebrows, I realized I had fallen into his trap. A rush of embarrassment flooded me from my loose lips. Xavier laughed out loud. He grabbed my hands, raised them above my head, and pressed me against the wall. "You said that yourself. I didn't force you." Anger made me dizzy. I instinctively kicked and struck him. But he just laughed even harder, rubbing his head and hugging me. "That's more like it. Look how weak Ethan has made you. If you're not happy, fight back. This is the real Arya. If you're not happy, fight back. This is the real Arya." Those words made my eyes well up with tears. I buried my face in Xavier's neck, suddenly feeling a sense of security. He walked me back to my room, patted my head, and said softly, "Sleep now. Leave everything to me." I gave a soft but didn't know what else to say. Watching him turn to leave, a strange sense of unreality washed over me. I blurted out, "Just like that?" As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt something was off, as if I was expecting him to do something more. I quickly buried myself under the covers, hiding for a long time until I was sure he had left, then slowly peeked out. Who knew? Just as I breathed in some fresh air, a shadow fell over me, and my lips were sealed by his. Suddenly, an overwhelming kiss rained down. Xavier's voice was hoarse but firm. "Arya, I won't let you lose. I've been waiting for this day for a long time too." Amid our intertwined breaths, Xavier whispered sweet nothings in my ear. I couldn't remember any of them, but I deeply felt his passionate, fierce advances. Later, with my help as an inside informant, Xavier swallowed up all of Ethan's territory. The empire that took over a decade of bloody battles to build was so easily dismantled. Ethan knew better than anyone that I had a hand in this. Some people sensed the tide turning and even switched sides, selling Ethan's whereabouts to Xavier. In the basement of the villa, where Xavier had the final showdown with Ethan, he found Lily, already used up. I could only sigh, knowing evil deeds would be repaid. I saw Ethan for the last time when he was locked in the dungeon, disheveled and wretched. He stammered, unable to say a full sentence, just looking at me expectantly, shaking his head painfully. Arya, I finally see you again. Everything before was my fault. I truly regret it. Please forgive me, okay? Looking at the once high and mighty, ruthless crime boss Ethan, I didn't know how to react. Did he think acting sincere could erase all the pain he caused me? This was the first time since Lily appeared that Ethan cried in front of me. I used to be deeply moved by his tears, thinking heaven had sent me the most intimate lover. But who could have imagined it was all an illusion? Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, pupils dilated. Arya, after you left, I really wanted to kill myself. I saw the room full of weapons and guns and finally realized what a terrible thing I had done. It was all Lily's instigation. I never meant to betray you. I only love you, Arya. I've also avenged you on Lily. She got the punishment she deserved. I've been atoning to you all along. But hearing his words now, I found them absurd. He never thought he was wrong. He was still that cold-blooded Ethan. I looked at him coldly, my heart unmoved. Atone? You think killing Lily can make up for what you did to me? The person you should punish most is yourself, because the one who hurt me deepest was only you. Denied forgiveness, Ethan's eyes filled with despair, his mind collapsing. I really know I was wrong. I want to use the rest of my life to make it up to you. I just ask that you come back to me. I laughed bitterly. Ethan, I came to see you one last time today, not to reconcile with you, nor to hear your confession. I just wanted closure. It's completely over between us. I also have someone more worthy of my trust now. Before the last word fell, I turned away completely and left, never looking back. Behind me, Ethan roared, Trust? Who are you going to trust? Xavier? No way, Arya. I don't agree. It can be anyone but him. Anyone but Xavier, Arya. Why him of all people? I didn't respond, letting his voice gradually fade behind me. Walking out of the dungeon, the early morning light was dawning. Xavier leaned against the car, smoke curling around him. He raised an eyebrow and opened his arms with a smirk. I ran over in big strides and hugged him tightly. Xavier kept his promise, transferring all of Ethan's cash and real estate to my name. He even transferred himself into my household registration. In Xavier's words, I'm the live-in son-in-law of the Chi family. Arya, you have to support me. I slapped his face, eating me up at night and still wanting me to support him during the day. Get lost, you damn man.